What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD mobile video. So this was a video that I've been wanting to make for quite a long time, and honestly, I won't lie to you, I have had a bit of misgivings with it because I'm not sure how this video will come off to you guys specifically. Even more so because a few months ago, I was encouraging a lot of you guys to do the camo grind. But now I'm kind of starting to regret actually saying that because what we saw just this past week kind of opened my eyes a little bit to, I guess, the camo situation that's going on within this game. The way I see it, there seems to be this incredible imbalance when it comes to the quality of camos or the quality of rewards that you get for putting way too much time in the game compared to the very high quality of camos that you get when you barely put any effort at all. So, for example, over these past few months, we've been receiving a lot of great camos. We got Psychic Distortion, we got this new Scorching, or like this Melting Scorching camo, whatever it's called. We've gotten Power Nova. That was the first of like, I guess the start of us getting like a bunch of good camos. But we also ended up getting Borealis twice this entire year. So we've been getting a huge string of very good camos. And this also is not counting the Sunken Gambit and that the shimmering thing that the that yellow animated camo that came out in tournament mode like a few months ago. That one also. So yeah, great camos. But the problem is that the value of these camos are often put down a peg mainly due to the fact that the game doesn't really require much from you to actually unlock them. Secret cache camos usually just involve you probably just logging in, playing a few games, and even on some weekends you get double the amount. So instead of 4, you get 8. And this could help you get a lot of secret cache camos. Usually these things will last like maybe 10 minutes and you could just stop playing the game for the rest of the day. Of course, in terms of completing the camo for all the weapons, or at least obtaining it for all the weapons, that varies because obviously not everyone's going to get the same amount of camos as fast as another person would. So there'll be people that get really lucky and they'll get like 4 consecutive secret cache camo crates. You know, some consisting of a pair of 3, a pair of 2, maybe a pair of 4 or 5. It kind of varies depending on the player. But the point is that it's easily achievable and it doesn't really require any work from you. However, I think the two biggest offenders of this type of situation that I'm talking about is definitely Borealis and Lunar Tier. If you guys remember when Lunar Tier first came out, it was during the Near Automata type of collaboration that we had that, you know, they were selling the Bison and the AK-47 skins, which are pretty cool, might I add. But the way to unlock those camos was like through a board game. And within the first day, I remember this very well. Within the very first day that this event came out, I ended up getting about like maybe 40 to like 60 camos in just one single day. A fully animated camo, which let's be honest, I mean, most of you guys would probably consider to be pretty mid, but on some guns it looks nice. But the point is that it's decently well animated and it took literally nothing. Like, if anything, it probably would take you half the season if you were slow to get it on every single weapon. But I think where they really slipped up was with the Borealis camo. So I'm going to exclude the Garena and the Chinese version because I know they had to unlock the camo through different means. They had some infiltration event that they had to complete. But for global users, they ended up kind of just having us like go through the new cry map at the time and just do certain tasks, you know, do a secret mission within the map itself, play 10 games, which is easily able to be done if you just go on the edge of the map and just wait for the timer to run out so you could just die and just get out, rinse and repeat. They also had certain challenges, or I guess milestones, where you had to play the game for like 300 minutes per week. So again, it was easily unlockable on every single weapon, and you could get that shit done within a few weeks. But then when they brought it back for, I guess, to support the new weapons, such as like the Ram 7, the USS 9, the RAL, they made it even easier. By the time I finished with that, with just getting all of the camos for the remaining guns that I need, or I guess the newer ones, I had about maybe 200 crates left. And if anything, this new iteration of the Borealis camos, or at least the new way to get them, was even easier than before. But I think that's the issue. I think unlocking these animated camos are a little bit too easy. It gets to the point where you kind of understand that the value of the camo isn't really that great, no matter how beautiful it actually is. And I feel that way, especially with Borealis, because as good as the camo is, and let's be honest, at least at the moment, it's the best camo in the game, it's completely meaningless because everyone has it. So, like, your motivation to put it on your weapons is not really there because none of us really ever worked for it. So, the camo means nothing. It's meaningless. Let me give you guys this reference. So, if you guys ever seen SpongeBob, that one episode where Mr. Krabs was trying to get his soda drinking hat from him because apparently it was worth like over $1 million. Like, people were willing to buy that off of him for that much. And then at the end of the episode, they ended up finding a whole warehouse full of them and they're completely worthless. Before the buyers in that episode found out that there was an abundance of those soda drinking hats, they were willing to spend millions of dollars. Like, they wanted that hat so badly because to them, it was one of a kind. It was rare. It's the same situation here, mainly because everyone has it. You know, like, it's not rare, it's not one of a kind. I mean, think about like the old COD days, right? You know, let's say Black Ops 3 when Dark Matter was first revealed, right? Whenever you got into a lobby and you just saw a bunch of people with simple camos, but you saw that one person on the enemy team or your team with Dark Matter, and everyone was just afraid of him because everyone knew that he mastered every weapon and they were most likely going to lose the match. It was kind of like one of those waking reminders that, yeah, this is the game that you're going to have to take seriously because that person with dark matter isn't fucking around. The same could be said about every end game camo for every COD game, whether it be DM Ultra, freaking Black Sky Solar camo from Infinite Warfare, Atomic, anything. People, when they saw that camo for the first time, everyone wanted it. Everyone started grinding their asses off to get it. We don't get that feeling here only because all the seasonal camos that are just easily given to us are far better than what we have with Damascus. Damascus, at the time when it first came out, it was probably the best thing that ever happened because, I mean, that camo was like brand new. I mean, it was like that camo came out the same year that Modern Warfare 2019 came out. So, yeah, people were actually willing to do the Damascus grind because it was like the newest thing. So a lot of us did that. And, you know, we were happy with our progress because, I mean, besides just getting a cool camo that not a lot of people had, we at least also had the experience of using every single weapon because, mind you, the gunsmith was, you know, brand new. So we had some experience with the gunsmith as well. It wasn't until later where a lot of good camos, especially when Ether Crystal came out, a lot of people, I would assume, even myself, started to question why we even bothered with the Damascus grind. Because after that, I mean, even after Diamond came out, Damascus was completely pointless. Like, there was no reason to actually get it because there were so many better options out there. Granted, it was much easier to unlock because at the time, like the newest weapons or like the newest AR was like the DRH and the QQ9 and all that stuff. So there was far less weapons to work with at the time compared to now. I mean, it was still a lot, but far less than what we have. But now they made the grind even worse, you know? Like, you have to pour in tons of hours, maybe even weeks to get the camo, depending on your pace. And it's even harder now because they upped the standards. It used to be just get all the way up to the DRH QQ9 or whatever was new at that time to get Damascus. And it stayed like that for about a few years. So, like, any weapon that came after, like the Fennec or the AGR, wasn't required for you to finish in order to get Damascus. It was just all the guns that were around when Damascus first came out. But then they changed the standard so that now you have to get every weapon, no matter how new they are, to actually unlock the camo. So this grind is made harder for people that are just starting to play the game or that decide to want to do the grind now because they have far more work to do than what we did back in the day. But the problem is that given how demanding this grind actually is now, no one's going to want to do it. And, you know, you could ask any normal player that hasn't gotten it, and you could ask them, why haven't you gone for Damascus? And most of the time, they're probably just going to tell you, well, why would I grind for such a shitty camo? And honestly, they're not wrong for saying that. And it does make sense if you think about it, because why are you going to spend months trying to get every weapon gold when you could just easily start grinding out those secret cache camos. And over time, yes, you won't lock them, but at least you have the freedom to play any mode you want and it's not going to stress you out. The effort isn't worth the quality that you get. Think of it this way. Let's say you're in a sport, right? And let's say you're in the basketball team and your coach tells you if you guys win this, you will have a pizza party. So let's say you guys actually end up winning the game. And then when the pizza party finally comes and you're ready to reap the rewards, they just end up giving you like little pizza rolls and that's it. And then you think to yourself like, "Damn, I put all this effort for this?" And look, I'm not discounting the fact that like you still like you gain experience from using every single gun in the game, which is true. And obviously with Diamond you could further that experience if you need more time to master it. But yes, I like yes, you gain the experience, but at the same time, you still want your reward to be good. Let's be honest, I'm willing to bet that a good portion of the player base does have Damascus, but they don't use it because it's just so ugly. There are just other options that you could choose from that don't really require that much work. And of course, there are a lot of people that were smart and decided not to do the grind altogether. Maybe they just decided to get diamond on their favorite weapon or on certain weapons. That's completely understandable. But it's a huge imbalance when it comes to effort and quality because you're pouring in so much time just to get a shitty stationary camo that barely shines when you could just easily play like 3 games and you unlock a much higher quality camo that moves. Think of it this way. In Modern Warfare 3, we had Bioluminescent, we had Borealis, the same camo that we have here. We also have Interstellar in that game. And there was also an event section where you're able to grind for other alternative animated camos. And, they were all great. But the thing is that the completionist camos were pretty good too. It was like a good balance between the two different types of ways to unlock camos. People that did the event camos were still motivated to get Interstellar because that camo was great too. But it's different here in COD Mobile because only the seasonal camos are good and they don't require you to do anything. Where, no, most people are not really going to look at Damascus at all because it's just like, again, you're wasting so much time for nothing. And mind you, Interstellar was far more easier to unlock because obviously there's less weapons to deal with. The challenges are a lot more simplified. Gone were the days of having to get like hundreds of crouch shots or get hundreds of point blank kills or hundreds of headshots with various weapons like you still do in COD Mobile. The burnout becomes a lot quicker because at the end of the day what you're grinding for is not great. It's like you're trying to look for the light at the end of the tunnel, but it just never ends. And then when you do find the light in the tunnel, it was just because there was just like a light post or something. And then there's a dead end to that tunnel. So it's like you did all this work and it led to nothing. You don't necessarily feel rewarded for all your efforts. There's a reason why I never put on Damascus. And also, there's also a reason why I never put on Diamond either, because there was no reward for getting it on everything. And, there's another reason why I put Ether Crystal on a lot of my blueprints sometimes, because it took me a lot of time to get that. Ether Crystal may not look like Fluorescence or it may not look like Borealis or Diamond, but it still looks nice enough to the point where it does feel like you were rewarded for your efforts. And you were. You got at least a calling card at the very least. That's the point. I don't really like using camos that didn't take me time to earn. Borealis, sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't, and it's only because everyone has it. It's like it's not really that special as good as it looks. Sometimes I don't even put diamond because again, everyone has diamond on something. But the main reason why I'm making this video is because when we found out that we were getting a DMZ camo, and not only just any normal camo, like a reactive one where you get kills and it changes colors, it's the first of its kind. And I understand that DMZ is a brand new mode. I completely get that. And they want to motivate people to play this mode as much as they can. But a camo like that, especially being the first of its kind in this game, that should have been a grindable camo, not some seasonal thing, because that's what it's going to be labeled as. This could have been another candidate to be the reward for getting diamond on everything. I'm not the only one requesting this now because in almost every blog post that's come out recently from COD Mobile, people have been asking them, like, hey, when are you going to add this reward for getting everything diamond? And they always give you the same answer that we don't have plans in the near future for adding this, or we have to check with the team, but we never get an answer back. Borealis, Fluorescence, and I would say also this new one were probably the three best candidates that I could think of that could have been that reward. And they fucked it up every fucking time because they put it for something that doesn't require any work at all. And look, I'm excited that we're getting this reactive nebula looking camo for DMZ. I am. But it shouldn't have been a reactive camo. That reactive camo should have been that all diamond reward. It would have been the first of its kind. It would have motivated so many players to actually start grinding every gun diamond so that they can unlock it. It would keep player retention extremely high because of it. That's honestly the reason why I'm making this video. It's because, dude, I'm so tired of them putting very good camos in places in the game where it doesn't require any effort. And then they destroy the value of the camo because at that point, everyone already has it. I was okay with them adding animated camos to the secret cache because it did take some time to get it on everything. It takes you like about a month or two, depending on your luck. That's okay. But when you're adding high quality camos such as Borealis and making it so that you just have to log into the game and maybe play a few games to unlock like 40 of those crates. Yeah, this is just wasted potential. Usually when it comes to camo unlocks in every COD game, it goes as follows, right? The first camo is always going to be stationary. Then the second camo is going to be the diamond camo. And then the final camo that you unlock would normally be the animated camo. That's usually the template that most COD games follow. But in COD Mobile, it's just you earn a stationary camo, and then you get all those stationary camos in one category just to unlock another stationary camo that doesn't cover the entire weapon. And then once you get that stationary camo for every single weapon in the game, then you get another stationary camo. And then once you get diamond on at least one of those weapons, or if not all of them, then you just simply get a camo that's a little bit nicer that covers the entire weapon. Why not add another step to it where, let's say, you get all of that stationary camo that covers the weapon on every weapon, then you get the animated camo that actually reacts, that changes colors. That would be fucking amazing. And keep in mind, with all the time that you have to spend to get all that shit, because keep in mind, Damascus is like maybe not even like 15% of the grind. Most of the grind is going to come from you getting diamond on every single weapon. There should be an award for that. The whole reason why this camo situation is pissing me off because the quality could only get so much higher. I wasn't really worried when Ether Crystal came out because, yes, it was parallax. I mean, it was a different thing. But then they started releasing higher quality stuff like Fluorescence, where I thought at the time maybe Fluorescent could have been the all diamond reward. But then they kept upping the quality where now Borealis is like the best camo in the game and it's only seasonal. So it's like, fuck, I mean, how is an all diamond reward going to top that? And then they add a reactive camo for DMZ. And now I think we're at the pinnacle of quality that we can get. So now I'm thinking to myself, well, what other camo can they make to top a camo like that? What I'm afraid of is that when they do finally have that opportunity to release an all diamond camo, it's going to be nowhere near the quality of what we're getting currently for DMZ. They keep raising the ceiling and it keeps us wondering, I mean, what can top this camo? What could top Borealis? What could top Nebula? The quality of the all diamond reward has to be high enough to the point where it competes with whatever we have currently. For a grind like that, it needs to be the highest tier humanly fucking possible in this game. And the more camos that they release of that quality or above, with DMZ, the harder it's going to be to compete. Thus, it's going to make the grind a lot less worth it. And that's the whole point of this video. You're pouring in a lot of effort for a camo for camos that don't even move, when you could just easily earn animated camos in the seasonal section by literally doing nothing. Usually before every major update is released, there are a few features out there that are kind of withheld from us until that actual update comes out. That happens all the time. And every time that happens, I'm hoping to God that they actually have the all diamond reward. I hold on to that hope every season. Even if it's a minor update season, I hold on to hope that one day they're going to get that job done, because at this point everyone that has done a bit of the diamond grind is kind of wondering, like, what do we get for it? And every single candidate that they've had for that grind has been used for something, has been put for something different when it didn't really need to be. It gets to the point where, like, every single season that a reward like that doesn't come out for us, it kind of makes me question why I even bothered with that grind in the first place. Maybe the rewards were worth it at the time, but we're way past stationary camos. Maybe if the game came out like a year later during the Cold War era, maybe we would have gone DM Ultra at the very least. But man, we got the worst set, let's be honest. I know most of you guys probably think I'm looking too deep into this, but if you think about it, if you play this game for like 6 years straight, grinding everything out to get nothing out of it, like, how would you feel? Let's say you're working at this job, you pour years of effort to get a very good raise or to get like a manager position, and it just never happens, or they give it to someone else or something like that. You're going to feel cheated, you know? You're going to feel like all the work that you did for these past years was for nothing. And that's basically what this is right now. I'm at that point now. I mean, it's not going to make me quit the game, but it's just like I'm starting to lose hope every day with this whole thing, with this whole situation. And it doesn't help when they release something so high quality for a mode that is most likely not going to require much out of you to earn. So it's just like what point did you have in releasing a camo like that, or like a camo grind like that, if it's, I don't know. And maybe they didn't, like, I'll be honest, maybe they didn't think about this at the time, you know? They probably didn't think like, "Oh, shit, we're gonna be making reactive camos, like, 6 years from now," at the time of when they were making Damascus. And, the funny thing is, Damascus actually wasn't supposed to be the final camo. If you guys remember, like, during season 9 when we first got the gunsmith, gold and platinum were the only camos available, and they decided to keep us, or at least keep Damascus from being released in the game despite it being in the test server, because they wanted to come up with a camo that they could think of. But then they just completely scrapped that plan altogether and just added Damascus anyways. Keep that in mind. We could have gone something potentially better than Damascus, but they decided to just go the lazy route and just give us that camo anyways. And despite the 5+ years that that camo's been out, they have not made a single effort to improve it at all. If you look back at Modern Warfare 2019, even if you search it up on YouTube and you look for Damascus camo, like on the search bar for that game, you will see such a night and day difference between how the camo is designed in that game and how it is in this game. And they can't even do that. I mean, you've already displayed the fact that you could actually have camos that cover the entire weapon. Why can't you do that with Damascus or Platinum? Like, why is that not still a thing? You could do it for all the seasonal camos, but you can't do it for completionists. It just, like, make it make sense. But anyways, guys, I think I ranted enough for a single day. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below in the comment sections. I'll see you guys next time.